Yes.
I don't know if you know the Joe Rogan podcasts.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that to me, that's perfection. You get there, you get to relax, you connect with the other person. So
Yeah.
maybe one day I will have to fly you to Valencia, though, to Spain.
I'm holding you to that.
Where are
Valencia
you?
has been on my bucket list forever. I think I told you this too, because
Yes.
I'm not so much anymore. Actually, not so much in like the last 5 years, but early on, I used to love rock climbing. And yeah, there's some really nice rock climbing spots over there.
Yes, yes. I love to go, in nature hiking and do, little adventures. And a couple of times it happens that, we get surrounded by all these people with all these gears, and they were just climbing these, these waterfalls and these walls of rocks. Oh, wow. How do they do that? Never done it.
Ever?
No, never.
You have to try it once to humble yourself. At least one time in your life. I'm like, oh, I'm athletic. That looks easy. No, not at all.
Well, no kidding. Those little structures, they are for kids when they kind of simulate rock climbing with those colored things.
Yep.
I found one of those in a park a few months ago. I was like, it looks so easy. I didn't even get to the first one, and my husband, he fell on the floor.
It's so hard to do.
Yes.
And you think that people with like big, strong muscles, yeah, it'd be so much easier. No, it's not at all. It's about angles and weight and physics and how you hug the wall and the way you scale, use your legs, not your arms. Like there's so much nuance to it.
Wow.
Understand. Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe I'll try. I'm not sold on it yet, but maybe one day. So, Ryan, this is actually my first day of being a podcast host. I've never done it before. And you are my second guest ever. I did another interview this morning. You're my second one.
You did another one this morning? Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. I find that when I host podcasts, just really any meeting in general, but it's very intensive. Like I feel like my energy, like I can only really handle one, maybe two.
I know.
Really intense where I'm like fully focused on the other person and like trying to improv and like direct and navigate, but also managing the tech and everything else that's going on. You do too. You're already a pro.
It is taxing, but I think two things are into play here. One, I never done it. So, when you don't know a thing and you just jump into it and you say, yes, let's see how it goes.
Yep.
Second thing is that I got almost 13 years of training because of my work. I talk intensely to people, at least 2-3 people every day. And I've done it for 13 years. So I'm very used to stay there, stay focused, quiet my mind, listen, pay attention. And I always say that it really recharges me. Somehow I always come out of meetings like this one, and I feel better than when I started. I crash after a few hours, maybe.
Yeah, I totally feel that. And that's when you were talking about like the in-person thing.
Yeah.
There's like an energy transfer there that just doesn't happen online. You can get close, you can hijack it. But...
Yes. Well, we breathe each other hormones. Now we know that if I am in a room and I'm very stressed out, I'm literally sweating out cortisol, and you want it or not, you are in my, in my hormones. And same goes on the other side, if I'm happy and I'm energetic and I'm cool, that goes too. So that's nice.
I agree.
And so today, so I think I sent you something about the podcast, but just to, get a little summary. I started this podcast because I wanted to explore the idea of, I don't know, you can call it sustainable success, right? So can we have wealth and health, right, at the same time, and happiness? And this curiosity, this came to me because, as I told you, for my job, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and founders. Very often there is this sense of like personal unfulfillment. Even if they are successful, even if, they have all the money they want and everything is okay, they feel unfulfilled. And most of the time it's because they got there, but they are pretty burned out.
Yep.
So I don't accept this BS, around business, around hustle, around hustling being the only way to get there. And, getting to a point when you have to sacrifice relationship, happiness, and basically your health. You have to choose between your business and your health. I don't accept this. And so I always say that if it costs my happiness, my internal serenity, it isn't worth it. On the other hand, I have to say that I am at the beginning of this entrepreneurial journey. I never choose it. I am an solopreneur by chance. I even found myself doing it, and I'm still learning a lot about the tenacity that it takes to do it. That I want to quit, but don't quit. Just keep doing it, right? Focusing on the process. And so, where do we draw the line? Right? So where is that sweet spot where we can do it without losing our mind? This is what brings me to why I invited you. By looking at your content, of course, you talk about automation, and we're going to talk about this. You talk about your work. But you also talk about farming and walking and nature. I don't know what you have there, but you will have this beautiful plants there. Yes. And there is a general vibe of, lightness coming from what you post, from your content. And so I think that the best way to explore this topic is through real stories, stories of people who are doing it. And so that's why you're here today. So why don't we start with a little bit of your background, your story, and what do you do?
Okay, well, how far back do we want to go?
Feel free. Feel free. This is a raw conversation. Feel free.
Can I start by asking a question?
Of course, you can ask all the questions you want.
Okay, perfect. And this is going to relate to a lot of my journey as well. So I noticed something when you were describing your journey, your story. Yeah. You said, I'm brand new to this. And already you're saying to yourself, I want to quit. I want to quit. Mm-hmm. What makes you want to quit? What happens to trigger the quit?
Okay. So to be honest, right now, I am in a good place with that. Especially last year, why I quit was because I was feeling that I was doing a lot and I was reacting, I want to say, in a negative way to the downs of the up and downs. So I would have a lot of ups and also a lot of downs, which I wasn't used to that. I'm lucky enough to have my husband who is in business and in marketing, and it kind of helped me to navigate this path. But when I was thinking, I don't know if I want to do it, I think I'm going to quit, it was because I was really reacting emotionally to those feelings of, no, this is too hard. I'm losing my health. I don't want it.
So your expectation was, I'm not supposed to feel this, or this isn't supposed to happen, or this wasn't part of the journey, right? Yes.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I asked that question, is because you are not a rarity. Every single person who starts off on this goes through the same thing. I today still go through the same exact thing. And I've been in and out of businesses for almost 20 years at this point.
Well, so this is reassuring.
It's not something to cure. It's not something you'll never, how do I say this? It's not something to avoid. Like, you're not doing something wrong by feeling that way. But my journey is such that the drive to quit has always been stronger when I have a job working for someone else, telling me what to do, something I don't want to do, dictating my life, writing down my hours, when I can take vacations. Versus the quid of, this is like, can I curse on this show? Is that okay?
Yes, feel
Okay,
free.
perfect. Like, this is total bullshit. They told me they were going to pay me by this date. The client told me for 2 months they were in. Keep delays. Like, just take me off your list. Just tell me no. Like, I'm a very transparent person. We can still be friends. Like, this is just business. There's so many things that happen that make me say to myself, like, what the hell am I doing here? Let me just go get a paycheck real quick. Let me just go out back, have my bills paid for, have a nice, comfortable life. I can farm all day long outside of the 9 to 5, but there's just something kind of stagnant about that has led me on a path of never being satisfied with like solving a challenge and then just staying there. So that has kind of led, I'm ambitious, but I have been to a fault where I've run my health, my physical health, my mental health, my well-being right into the ground. And so now being 39 and 2 months old, almost to 40, I'm like,
Same
do
age.
I want to do this for the last half of my life? Do I want to keep on this path? Is there a better way? Can I find someone in the wild who's a prime example of doing what I want to do in the manner and lifestyle that I want to do it, rather than having the YouTube algorithm suggest to you Gary Vee and Alex Hormozy and all these other people that successful in their own right. Like, if you want to take that path, no one's telling you not to. But for me personally, for my sort of stepwise journey in this process, this kind of weird ethereal thing we call life and careers and stuff, like, I don't ever want to fall into a box that someone else has built for me without experiencing if the way I want to do it is possible first. That's probably the easiest way I could describe the culmination of the last like 15 years of my career.
Wow.
And I've tried and failed. And, I'm not like, I was just on a call with a coaching student of mine, and he went from being a copywriter. I want to do copywriting and not being like a lead at it, but like wanting to learn and content and all this other stuff and AI and all the cool stuff. I'm like, but if you weren't getting paid for this, would you do this? He was just like, no, I wouldn't even be looking at a computer. I'm like, okay, back up. And then he was telling me he was going to do an Ironman this weekend. I go, is this your first one? He was like, yeah, I've been training for a while for this. I'm like, show me that. This is the stuff that you love to do. You'll get paid for it eventually. We'll figure out how to monetize that. But don't just follow the crowd because that's what the algorithm is showing you all the content of. And like, maybe that's the cool stuff to read or the trending thing. So if you can find something that you would do if money was never an issue, you'll do it for longer and you'll work harder and it won't feel like a grind and you won't actually quit.
Yeah.
Reaction hits. And that's when I come back to your point, like, you might be a first-time entrepreneur, but you're not a first-time doer of your thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're a pro at your thing and you want to do that. You just want to do it in a different box, a different method, a different system, a different strategy. And I think that, whether you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur or you're a 40-year corporate geek, that's all good. As long as you're doing whatever the hell you want to do and the path you want to do it, like, go do that thing. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. So like, I have the luxury of choosing a different lifestyle as well too. So there's constraints and everything. It's just about what's your priority for health, wellness, and then money, career, etc.
Yes, I feel you, and I feel this a lot. I also don't have any kids, and I think I decided years ago that I would dedicate my life to basically my relationship with my husband, because I love being in a relationship. I love being with him, and my work, what I do. All the rebranding and rebuilding of my business, because I actually have this business, I have led it for the past 12 years. So I am an solopreneur now, just because this is the moment where I'm trying to build it into something more structured, all right?
Yep.
Because it always went by with word of mouth, nothing else. Now it's becoming something solid. And so while we were doing this with my husband, the priority was, okay, we have to build this thing around me, around us, around our lifestyle, because it's the only way this can be sustainable.
For sure.
It's the only way, if my way is that I will work from Monday to Friday, and then I will have Wednesday in a certain way because that's what allows me to perform at my best. And then I have to have my weekends off, Saturday and Sunday, for me to perform, just to, say something practical. This is how it has to be. Yes. But in doing this, often, I often face the sometimes having to do longer hours, sometimes having to push myself really, really out of what I know how to do. Like, I'm a therapist. I know how to do this. I know how to talk to people. I don't know how to write content. I didn't know how to write content. I didn't know how to talk in a video, like talking to myself in a camera. I was so awkward. And those were the moments where I had doubts, where I was like, And then, and this is something pretty new, I realized that I'm good at talking to people, like what I'm doing now, no?
Yes.
Creating connections. So writing contents and doing other stuff, it doesn't really make sense to me. And when I tried to follow the one size fits all solution, or be consistent with that, be consistent with your content, do this, do that, it didn't really work for me. That's when I went pretty close to burning out. Yeah.
Have you ever burnt out? Like, so if you follow my content, I talk about the zone of genius a lot, right?
Yeah.
You can tell me, but it seems like to me, your zone of genius is energy transfer between people and helping the other person with exactly what you can do in the best of your functions, right? Have you ever actually burnt out doing that?
Not doing that. Not doing that. That's impossible for me. I can do it forever. Like, that's sometimes I'm a bit heavy, I think, with friends too, because I only want to do that.
Exactly. So therefore, the cure to burnout is removing the stuff that burns you out from your business, your day-to-day, whatever, and building the structure that allows you to stay in your zone of genius as long as humanly possible. Whether that's 2 days out of 5 a week, great. If that's 4 to 5 days, that's the penultimate goal, if we can get there.
Is this what is behind your last ventures, which I think is called Ghosty, which is
the
best logo ever?
So my zone of genius is actually, I like to build stuff. As crazy as that sounds. I'm a creative, right? So behind me are bunch of guitars hanging on the walls. Like, I was a touring musician at one point in time. I just loved music. You can see all the pictures in the background. Like, I just love taking stuff like a blank canvas and creating something. So farming, growing stuff from seed, sustainability, giving back, giving life to the whole ecosystem of whatever it is that you do. During COVID, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, you know what? Woodworking seems cool. So I just bought some tools and started building stuff in my garage. Now I have a wood shop. So, like, for me, it's about chasing the challenge, the creative sort of building thing. And like, let's see if I can do this. So, long-winded story to say, Ghosty is a way to solve my own problem. As structured as I am in business, I am not very structured at all with my content. Most of the times, the stuff you see me writing, I'm not sure what time it is over there. It's 10:30 in the morning here. I'm up at 5:30. I have coffee, hug my cat, and then I'll whip out my phone, download LinkedIn, log in, and write a post, and then delete the app off my phone. Like, that sometimes is kind of the structure. And I'm like, that's not sustainable. That can't be good. Like, it's just not a good way to,
beautiful, but not sustainable, because it's very inspired.
Yes. Right. It's, which is why I'm very hard to replicate. Like I'm very hard to copy because there's other creators out there I really respect, like Jacob Peggs. He's another one. It's like it's impossible to recreate his stuff. Whereas a guy like, and I totally love him and his work, but like a guy like Justin Welsh, like his posts, I don't even know if he's writing his own stuff anymore, but his posts are totally templatizable, if you want to call it that, or like copyable, whatever. So Ghosty it's super raw. I don't even really love the initial first rollout that I've had. But I've sat down with a lot of high level content creators who do some ghostwriting. I did some ghostwriting last year as well for myself. And I'm really trying to nail down the idea of like, how do you find a good piece of content in your timeline? Have a macro or a Chrome extension that allows you to just quickly save that or send it to Ghosty. And then in the Ghosty website, you have this big swipe file of all of the really great stuff that you've read. And it takes the pieces of the writing and templatizes it in a way to where you can snowman your own piece of content from sort of picking and choosing the structure, the flow of how it goes. The initial templatizer build does not solve that problem. It's just, I just needed to get something up and running to prove that the workflow and the web app could actually work. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's kind of my weekender, it's late at night watching my sports teams and stuff, kind of bored on the couch build at this point, but we'll get there.
Wow. I can see the power of this, as someone who, of course, writes content. And I know how useful and helpful Notion is to me to have all my brain dumped into something.
Yes.
I can see how useful it can be to have someone who can pick from that and organize all the stuff for me and constantly creating new stuff. And it's beautiful because it's you.
That's most important. Like we were talking about this in the world of AI, it's going to be so easy to stand out.
Yes.
It's easy to be you because people are going to yearn for that. They're like, I've seen so much crap in the last 3 hours thumbing through Instagram and all the other social media platforms.
Yes.
It's going to be so easy to be authentically you. If you don't fall into the trap, if you don't go by the trend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Also, at this time when everybody's talking about AI and it's a mix of, I'm excited and I don't know. And in the meantime, you have people writing stuff with AI that it's easily recognizable as AI. You're working on making AI helping us. So you are turbo powering humans with AI, which I think is the best use of AI, really the best use.
It's the ultimate use case for a piece of technology that can do that.
Yes. Wow.
And not for the sake of like, because we talk about this stuff all the time. I'm a data scientist. Like I've been building this stuff forever. Not for the sake of getting something done faster, like not for the sake of just moving faster, but again, back to all the things I talk about, for the sake of removing you from the stuff that burns you out and putting you in the place to win, to succeed, to actually live a fulfilled life and do stuff that gives you energy, gives you meaning.
Wow.
So in your case, if content's not it, then use AI, use a tool to get that done, or at least the bulk of it, the 80-20, right? The 80% of it done.
Wow.
So that the other 20% that you actually enjoy doing, you can actually sit down and do.
It's basically delegating on steroids, delegating to the best.
That's a fantastic analogy. That's a great analogy.
Nice. Well, again, content burns me out a little. Just the idea of having something that is really functional and something that it knows how to write as I do, and it takes things from my brain, from my knowledge. It's a dream. It's a dream. Yeah. And is it ready, or I think it's in beta still, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't even call it beta. It's probably alpha stage at this point. So my goal this week is to kind of reshape the templatizer, the outputs from it, and the prompt, the massive prompt that feeds this thing. Every time you click the button, you just have no idea of how long this prompt is and everything. But so the ultimate end goal is, as we talked about, is to get that piece of content to be able to snowman whatever. But I also I want every user to be able to batch upload or just upload their content to have it be their own learning model, for lack of better words. Now, you need a ton of data, more than likely, to get really great outputs for learning models, but I don't see that being the case in the future. I used to build like deep learning models, and I mean, you need like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of data points to build an accurate deep learning model. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't do that by asking ChatGPT, give me a piece of content based on everything you've ever seen on the internet. Like, what is it? Like, what if the outputs are terrible? So if I can figure out how to consistently feed the assistant and ping pong back and forth, like, it gives you an output, and then maybe, I don't know, a 5-star rating, you can click on the rating and have it be sort of this learned loop for the stuff that you wrote that you like and that you want to continually reproduce.
Great, really great. I have no other words for this. and just that I want it. So I'm gonna be there waiting, waiting for it to be completed.
Well, I'm working hard. I can't give you any timelines, deadlines.
Don't worry, I'm gonna wait.
Other stuff as well too. But what I can say is sometime this summer, I'm hoping to have at least the initial sort of MVP built, and then you'll see me like pandering hard for new users. I'll be begging.
Yes. So you seem, I have to say, you seem like someone who has been there, has done that. Like, you've been on the lows, you've been on the ups, you've done quite, you have quite some experience. If you had to say what was the hardest thing in your entrepreneurial journey, like pick just one.
In my entrepreneurial journey or my career?
That's interesting. Let's
like just as a business owner, or like the whole culmination of everything I've been through?
Being a business owner, having your own business.
Yeah, then by far, losing a business. And there's no close second.
Okay. So this happened to you?
Yes.
And how did you handle it? Because
with my tail between my legs and going back to corporate America, and I used to lie to people to tell them why it happened, like it wasn't my fault, because I was embarrassed to admit it. But basically, the beginning of my career, I started off building a business, a recruiting business with my friend from college, local friend, and he wanted help scaling. We did that. He kind of wanted to play golf every day and, work at night. And I was like, well, I'm here working during the day, so I'm going to go do my own thing. No harm, no foul. But I thought because I had done it in a small shop with him and maybe another employee or two, that I could just go right out on my own and do this as well. So, yeah. And after the first year, I think in January 26, I remember the year. It was January 2016. And in recruiting, New Year's Day, right? Everybody's looking to hire. Everybody's done with Christmas and holidays. Everybody wants a new job, New Year's resolution. I'm getting paid more, right? So recruiting really picks up. I think I made either like $70,000 or $80,000 for the first 2 months. Hired an employee, hired an intern, and by August I was out of business. Didn't collect a dollar from April 1st through the end of the summer. And over here in the United States, it was the year of the Trump-Clinton election. Trump was kind of this wild card. Nobody knew, like, what's an American economy look like under Trump, right? We know what it'll look like under Clinton, but what the hell is Trump? Is he actually going to win? Are we like, what is this? So no clients wanted to pay me. Nobody wanted to hire. Businesses just basically were like waiting for the election to be over with. And I just couldn't wait any longer. Like I couldn't pay my bills, couldn't pay my employees. So I ended up shutting down. And by November, I found a recruiting contract for a big pharma company and hated my life. But it was tough. It was like two years almost to the month in business.
Yes.
So
It was tough, like, of course, on a financial level, but on a personal level, did it touch you on a personal level?
yeah, because I felt like, back to the working hard grinding thing, I felt like I could just bull rush my way to success. Felt like I could just keep pounding the pavement, keep making cold calls, and eventually something would push through. But what I didn't realize is I had no system. I had no strategy, really. I had never faced an economic situation like this before in my young career. So I had no like previous experience about how to curb that or what to do. Or anyone who's ever been in a recruiting business knows cash flow is terrible. So it's not like you have monthly consistent income coming in. Yeah, it was just brutal. I was burnt out. Totally.
Yeah. I can imagine that. How did you bounce back though? Where did you find the strength? Because that's always where I keep coming back. Like, but where do I find the strength? Well, in the end, I always find it, right? But what is it? Is it your why? Is it there that you come back to your why?
No, I think it's honestly just a matter of giving yourself patience to figure it out, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really good question. I never really thought about it because when I went back and entered into corporate America, it's like the first time I was an employee in 6-8 years. So for me, it was like relearning sort of all the stuff and then refiguring out why I went back into entrepreneurship to begin with. Yeah. But having the consistent income, getting caught up on debt and bills and like all the other stuff, like mentally satisfying, less stressful. But it's not like work was any different. I was still going 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. So, and it's why I've always been a top performer in every company I've gone to. But it's always at the same point, it's always why at the end of the road, I hate my life, hate my system, hate my company, hate my job, so I continually do it to myself. And over the last year, this is really the first business since then that I've started, if you want to call it that, like officially planted my flag, quit my job and said, I'm going all in on this. So I think after having been highly valued in another company, I look at it as like, well, there's always a job to go get. Like, if this doesn't work, I could always go get a job somewhere. I could always go find money. But if I never did this and I always stuck with the job, in 20 years, I'd be like, damn, I missed out. Like, I just didn't test myself enough,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Back to that word patience, right? Giving yourself time to figure it out, time to experience things, time to defrag all the stress systems, lower the cortisol levels. And like that stuff takes time. It takes months to recover from that.
Absolutely. I can relate to that. I was talking about this in a call before this one, where I think that the thing I found for me now that works is when I am in a very like difficult place, like when it gets challenging. Well, before it was like, oh no, I cannot do it. Like basically throwing a tantrum, they say, like no, I can't take it, no. For someone else, I don't really have, a choice. This is what I like, so I have to do it. And so what really helped me is to say, okay, can I make it another like day? Yeah, can I? Another day, just another day. And that gives me space. It's like it gives me space and everything becomes less overwhelming.
Yes.
Some days it's, can I make it another hour? Can I? It depends. It depends from, where I am in my mind. But I think that the patience that you're talking about is this. It's a mix of tenacity So again, not quitting, which I'm beginning to understand that it's something that you want to, to bet on, and giving yourself a little buffering time. Like,
Yes.
okay, it's just this.
There's a famous quote that I can pigeon right off of that statement. You ever heard of, I don't know if you want to call him a motivational speaker. His name is Jim Rohn, Rohn, Jim Rohn.
I'm bad with names, but if you say the quotes, probably I will. I know if I know it.
So Jim, I could listen to Jim's stuff all day long. It's hyper relevant to whatever you do, career, whatever.
Okay.
But Jim has this quirky way of like putting analogies, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He always says, how long would you give your average baby to learn how to walk?
Yeah.
There's no deadline on learning how to walk. You just learn how to walk.
Yeah.
So act that way with yourself. How long would you
Yes.
give yourself?
Yes.
Everyone has to say goals have to be like quantified to a time frame. I don't believe that at all.
That's interesting.
As long as you take the steps to move in that direction, you'll get there.
Yes. Yes.
The moment I set a deadline for myself is like the moment I'm like, I resist it, or I don't feel like doing it, or I got to rush. Just give yourself the time and the patience, and know that you're taking the steps to get there, and you'll get there.
Do you think that these setbacks, like the one you just talked about, they help to shape the mindset that you have right now around business and around how you approach it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's experience.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish we were all born with this innate knowledge, but
yeah, go at school of how to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Learning everything on books. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, very nice. Is there something you want to ask me? Because I don't want to keep you any longer, because I know that you have to go. So is there something you want to ask me, or I don't know?
Well, I'm always collecting data.
Okay.
From my audience, from people who follow me.
Yes.
What was the one post, piece of content, message, picture, whatever it was? What was the one thing that made you be like, oh, I love reading his stuff. Like, I am definitely following this person.
Okay, I have it. And I think that I want to guess that this is one of those you wrote like on the spot, like inspired at 5 a.m.
Maybe.
It's the one when I don't remember correctly, but it's a list of walking is my, I don't know if it's a recharge, or gardening is my this. No. And it's a phrase in the beginning and the phrase on the end. And I read that and I was like, whoa, okay. This is nice. This is very nice. It was so simple, so direct. I enjoyed your other posts. I think there was one that had the picture of a plant. I love the way you pair picture with your post. It's pretty original. But that one is the one that stood out the most.
Okay.
Did you write that on the spot?
I'm making notes. I'm making mental notes here. Yeah, making notes.
Yeah. What does it mean to you? What kind of data is this?
So I just want to do more of that.
Please.
Yes. I mean, that's the whole goal. I want to do less of the stuff that doesn't resonate with people and more of the stuff that helps. So
yes. And again, I think that you're doing this right. I'm learning that talking to people really is the way to go. You really have to collect feedback from real people. If not, you're in your head and you think that, this is great, and then nobody likes it. And the best way to serve, people is to kind of understand what they like, what they want. Yeah, very nice.
I think if I had to say one thing about your stuff.
Yeah, please roast.
I think no roasting whatsoever. Okay. I think, I'm over here building a template product, like an AI template product, but I think your stuff is so genuine. Just keep doing it. I love it. I love reading it. Love seeing your stories, who you are from 3,000 miles away. And I just love consuming that stuff and learning about other people. It breathes life into a profile picture. And I think what you're doing is fantastic in your work. And in your contents. Just want to say I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you. This really means a lot, especially again, because writing, it doesn't really come easy unless, like you, maybe one day in a week where I'm inspired. And then I write a couple of posts and then it's gone. And then it's dark again. But it really means a lot. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for contributing to the world in a positive way. We need more people like you.
I like you because you're contributing to a lot. And if people wants to find you, how can they find you? How can they contact you?
LinkedIn. I think my what is it? The string at the end of the URL, like linkedin.com/ I think it's Ryan Hutchinson Creates. I think that's the one I chose. I don't know. But if you search for me, you'll see my evil looking, dark side looking face over there, looking uber professional. And yeah, you'll find me on LinkedIn somewhere. But yeah, come connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yes, we all look very professional on LinkedIn.
People tell me all the time, they're like, man, you're nothing like your profile picture. I'm like, I know, because I'm trying to look like a badass who knows my shit. And then the moment you meet me, you're like, he's just a normal guy, like just like me. Yeah. So.
But why? You should take a picture with your cat and just put.
And what doesn't?
Well, Ryan, it was really, really great and lovely meeting you and getting to know you. And I hope we stay in touch and we keep exchanging data and feedback and love, basically.
Absolutely. Doc, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Take care.
Bye.